Good morning, hi, welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 262, and we're here live on the beach in Southwest Florida, specifically at Vanderbilt Beach today. We have an amazing glowing sunrise behind me. We have tons of birds here today, and I just finished watching a family of 4 dolphins swim by. They started about here, and I watched them go north. I did get it on video and shared it to my Instagram story. So if anybody wants to see the family of dolphins that I watched this morning, I shared it over there. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining me live. Hi, Sherry and Judy and Karen. Happy Halloween, Karen. Same to you. As I was getting ready to come down here, I was in the parking lot. I scrolled through my old Facebook photos of different Halloween costumes from older Halloweens and did a post on Instagram of all my favorites of Marlon and me over the years. He's 16 now, and this is the first year he doesn't want to dress up. So I went down memory lane to remember some of the fun Halloweens that I decorated. His face, my face, his cousins' faces. I have painted anyone's face who wanted face painting for Halloween for many, many years. I think those of us who are super creative in the depths of our soul, we love any opportunity to, wow. Good morning, birdies. Is this cool or what? Good morning, Carol. Lisa, I missed the typo, so I didn't even get confused by it. I missed it altogether. Wow, we've got a lot of birds today. Well, welcome back, guys. Hey, we even have a couple of kinds. Chris tried my baklava balls recipe. Wonderful. I'm so glad you liked it. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Chantel. Yeah, so on Instagram this morning, I also posted a multi-photo post. You'll have to swipe to see all of them. But I posted, I think, 5 or 6 of some of our previous Halloweens. It was fun to look at all of them. Hopefully you enjoy them too. Good morning, Rebecca. Hi, Judy. Yes, the sunrise is spectacular this morning. So here's the beach to the south of us. This is Naples, and it's pretty hazy, so you cannot see Marco Island down there today. And then the beach to the north of us, you can see a little bit of Fort Myers Beach. I do not think we can see Sanibel Island today. It looks pretty hazy on the horizon, but you can see that you know, this time of year, this time of day, we're getting an amazing hazy gradient sunrise. KB has decorated her front porch with a skeleton. All right, I guess you're in the Halloween spirit yourself. We won't be doing anything this year. Jackie likes my baklava ball recipe. Wonderful, I'm so glad. Karen says her skeleton's crocheted. Oh wow, you should take a picture of it and share it with us. Thank you, Rebecca. This is one of the earring patterns from my new book, 80 Handmade Gifts. And I thought that I would wear earrings today with my hair pulled back so you could see them a little bit better. Karen has snow in Colorado. Brr, that sounds chilly. It feels chilly here, but that's just because it's damp. It's not as cold as other parts of the country, but I probably could use a heavier jacket today. Thanks, Karen. Lisa did decorate, but doesn't get trick-or-treaters. Yeah, I haven't, since we moved to Florida 10 years ago, I haven't seen trick-or-treaters either. We had them a little bit when we lived in Michigan, and I guess you just have to know where to go, but we don't have trick-or-treaters here either. So I have not been able to hand out candy in years. Rebecca's buying my book today. Yay! Thank you so much. Thank you. So I brought some of the other earrings with, oh, and I have something else to show you too. You know how a lot of times I'll say something and then forget? Well, yesterday I mentioned a cookbook and said if I remember, I'll bring it, and I brought it today. I can't believe how sharp my memory is today. So I just wanted to show you another one of the hoop earrings. Now that my hair's pulled back, you can see them a lot better. So this is one of the knit earring patterns in the new book, 80 Handmade Gifts. This is one of the crochet patterns, so I just wanted to show them to you side by side so you could see how beautiful they look when your hair is pulled back or if you have short hair. And then I was going to also show you that heart earring that we talked about yesterday too, so that you could see how it faces forward with the double jump ring. And of course it's not going to cooperate now that I said that, but in general it mostly faces forward. It's going to twist a lot, which I think is the beauty of dangly earrings, is that they don't stay in place. And can you imagine if you put beads on this or use the sparkly or yarn so that it would light up with all that movement? Same with these. If this was done in bling yarn or if you added beads to it, the movement would just bring out so much more of that sparkly characteristic. Good morning, Edna. Thanks for joining live. All right, so I'll put my regular earring back on unless anyone has any questions about the earrings, or if anybody wants to see any of the other jewelry pieces again, please say so. Otherwise we'll move on and I'll show you some of my cherished cookbooks, but I'll wait a minute. These rings, you can find them in my Amazon shop. I have links to all the resources for everything you need for all the projects in the book at kristinomdahl.com/80handmadegifts. If you want to go straight to my Amazon shop where you'll find a lot of these resources, it would be at amazon.com/shop/Kristin Omdahl. And if you have any questions about any of that, most things are listed in the resources of the video below. Or you can email me at projectkristincares@gmail.com. Saw a couple of questions while I was talking and did not retain all of it, but one of them asked if you could make these on smaller hoops. Absolutely, you'll just need to make a smaller crochet motif. So you would want to end on a different round or use a thinner crochet hook. Do in some way, make the motif match the size of the hoop. And you want the motif to be slightly smaller than the hoop so that when it's stretched at its capacity on the hoop and it won't sag. So for this one, it was working through this round. If you're using a smaller hoop, you may want to end at a different round. But it is absolutely possible to make this style or concept of earring on a smaller hoop. I hope that makes sense. Does anybody have any other questions? You can show that to me closer up too. So like if you wanted to see how the first round is double crochet, the second round is double crochets and chains, and the third round is single crochet and chains. If you wanted to do this round, skip this round and go so do round 1, skip round 2 and go right on to round 3, you would get an earring that is a little bit smaller than the size of the second round of the motif. So you would just have to play around with it, just like, anytime you modify something, you are, in essence, having to figure out what a designer has to figure out to make things work. Sometimes it's trial and error, and it's okay to make mistakes when you're trying something new. So if you're using a different size hoop, you're gonna, even whether it's bigger or smaller, you're going to have to play around with your gauge, play around with however many rounds you're doing, play around with your hook size, and just figure out what needs to happen. I pinched my ear to make it fit. But definitely possible to make it on any other size, because it's the same concept as when we did the mandalas on the hoop, remember? And the mandala is something that's this big, and you could do a mandala on this size ring, this size, you could do it room size. Doesn't really matter, you just have to make sure that you adjust the size of your motif to the size of the ring that you're using. So same concept, and it'll work for any size hoop. Does anybody have any other questions before we get moving? And I'll start pulling my goodies out of Dolly the Wonder Wagon. Hi, Dina. So, those of you, a lot of you may already know that I come up with, yeah, you could do one out of hula hoop, Karen, absolutely. A lot of you know that I develop my own recipes, and I don't really use cookbooks very much for recipes, but I have a couple of cookbooks that that are very unusual. I would guess that most of what I'm about to show you is not even available in stores. They're more of a collector's item to me than an actual cookbook, but some of them are how I learned to cook many, many years ago. So I'll start with that. And this book, Mastering the Art of French Cooking by Julia Child, was one of the few things that I brought to Israel with me when I went there on my honeymoon. I planned on going there for a couple of weeks for my honeymoon, so I packed a couple of sundresses, a couple of bikinis, and I packed a book to read for the flights. And so this is the book that I grabbed because I thought, I'm a newlywed wife, I should probably really fine-tune my cooking skills. And I was a pretty good cook at that point, but really wanted to up my game as much as possible. And so turns out I did not come home from that honeymoon, and I ended up staying there for 4 years. And for many of those years, this was the only English-speaking book that I owned. So I read this cover to cover, at least 50 times. And this is where I got my biggest foundation in cooking. So this book is still available. You can find this on Amazon, or you can buy it used on eBay and a bunch of other places. Chris has the second volume too. I now own the first and second volume of this book, but this was probably my closest connection to America and home when I was living overseas and wished that I could go home. Did I master it? Yes, Judy, I feel like I really learned, I really grasped everything very well, and that is where I got the basis for my understanding of cooking, for sure. Most definitely. Did not necessarily make everything in the book, but definitely studied and understood and applied it whenever it was possible, because where I was living at the time in Israel, a lot of the ingredients were not available, but anytime I thought that I could adjust it or modify it or try something, I absolutely did. So that was awesome. Then one of my next books is The Multicultural Cuisine of Trinidad, Tobago, and the Caribbean. And this was gifted to me by my friend Janelle, who is from Trinidad. And she gave this to me for my birthday several, 8-10 years ago. And she said, this is the book that every girl gets when she leaves high school in Trinidad. And what's so cool about this is that it is family recipes from all the different multicultures in Trinidad. So there's a whole section on, let's see, there's a section on African food, there's a section on Middle Eastern food, Chinese food, East Indian, and then there's a section on meat, fishes, soups, salads, and it is just candies, desserts, breads, just absolutely fascinating. And so I have fine-tuned some of my ethnic dishes by studying some of the different flavor profiles in some of these dishes. So this has been a very interesting find for me too. And I can't say that I know if this book is available either in the United States, but apparently it is. Yeah, here we go. Naparima Girls High School Cookbook. It's something every girl receives in high school in Trinidad. I thought that was so super cool. The next two books I received, I was visiting a friend. I was visiting my friend Stephanie from New York, but she lives down here now. And one of her neighbors came over, and it was this little, sweet, adorable old lady that came over and that said she was giving away some old cookbooks, and would anybody like to come take a look? And I went, sure, I'll come take a look. And she had some cookbooks that I have never seen in stores, and I was really excited to pick up. And this one, I think, is one of the neatest ones I've ever seen. This is called the Congressional Cookbook, and it is a collection of the wives of politicians from 1776 to 1976. And so you go through here, and it tells you which representative's wife, whether it's a president's wife, a congressman's wife, a mayor's wife, let's see, what else? A representative from Arizona. Let's see, a wife of representative of Maryland, California, Kansas, Texas, daughter of former president, wife of former representative, just all sorts of really creative, and so a lot of them are extremely old recipes as well. But yeah, it's a bicentennial cookbook, that's correct. And so it's just this neat collection of recipes and I know, I'm trying to find it and I don't see one, but there's some governors and some presidents. I'd have to look again, but lots of really cool recipes in there. And some of them are kooky, but some of them are really cool too. And then this one I thought was really interesting too. And this is a Lebanese cookbook that I've never seen in US stores either. And it was, see, when was this one published? This one's published in 1972. And it was from a Lebanese American family. And the recipes are from 1936, from a family's collection from 1936. And what was so interesting to me about this is that I've never found recipes that tasted as close to the recipes I remember from the Lebanese immigrant families that I met when I lived in Israel. There were a lot of Lebanese Christian refugees in the northern part of Israel where I lived. And so I used to eat with them sometimes, and this is the closest to their recipes I've ever found. So that's a nice treasure. And then the one that I mentioned yesterday, remember how I was talking about when I went to Austin last summer to tape a segment for Vicki Howell's new show, The Knit Show. We were in Austin and I went to dinner with my friend and we got those matching kimonos and we ate at that amazing restaurant I told you about that was a Lebanese French fusion restaurant. Amazing food. I think we had short ribs and we had these cocktails that were savory with beet juice and basil and chili peppers and oh, just amazing. Anyway, I had gone to a used bookstore while I was that night, and this is the book that I picked up. It's called Cuisine of the Water Gods, the authentic seafood and vegetable cookery of Mexico. And this would be pre-Columbus Mexico, when it was long before, I'm going to read the book jacket for you. Long before the Spanish conquest brought the first domestic animals to Mexico's shores, vegetable and seafood were the basis of the region's varied and flavorful coastal cuisines, which continued to flourish even as contact with Europe, Africa, and Asia brought new influences and ingredients. Now Mexican Culinary Authority, Patricia Quintana, has harvested this native bounty in a collection of nearly 200 authentic recipes. How cool is that? So it's just as much a history book as it is a cookbook, and you see there's lots of information on here about the different water gods, and so it goes much deeper than just the recipes. Not all of the ingredients are modern ingredients that you can actually use. A lot of them are, so there is a little bit of trying to translate and figure out how to make them work, but it is another one of those super cool books. I used to have a cookbook on ancient Viking recipes, and I used to have one on ancient Roman recipes, and I've lost those over the years. But there's something really interesting to me about learning about history with cooking, and so that is my prized collection of cookbooks that I feel like you can't really buy in the store, and it's just something that's really special to me. So that's all I had to say about that. Those of you that aren't into cooking, you're probably bored to tears. But those of you that are might appreciate me sharing that. Does anybody have any questions for me? Oh, Jane has Frank Sinatra's cookbook. That's cool. Thanks, Sherry. Edna loves to cook too. Yeah, me too. Me too. I've always wanted to write a cookbook where I organize the recipes by how much crafting I'm doing that day. Like when you're working on easy crafts, the recipe can be more, not advanced, but more detail, more work. And then when you're working on something like lace or something that's really intricate in your crafting, you do something that's a lot simpler in the kitchen. So I thought it would be fun to organize a cooking book so you would pick recipes based on how busy you are doing other creative things. What do you think of that concept? Just throw that out there and see what people think. That's a great idea, Rebecca. You should. To be able to pass on your recipes to your daughter, that would be a really special gift to her. Absolutely. Bye, Donna. Have a nice day. Judy likes the idea. Another Judy. Kara likes the idea. Grace likes the idea. Yeah, it wouldn't be 1, 2, 3 recipes, but it would be 1, 2, 3 by how much handwork's involved. Like something that you can throw in a slow cooker or a pressure cooker would be something to do when you're working on lace, or something that involves, or you're painting a project. Something that involves so much of your time and handwork would, in your crafting, would be a day that you want to do something that's just fix it and forget it. And a day when you're doing easy stuff, or a day you're watching your knits and crochets block on a blocking board, you're just waiting for them to dry so you could do something more detailed in the kitchen, or you could do some prep work for something else. So things that are low prep for days that are heavy on crafting, and days that are light on crafting, you could be more heavy in the prep work in the kitchen. So I thought that would be fun. And you know, maybe even add some patterns to the book to go along with the recipes. Yeah, because it would apply to a busy mom schedule too, absolutely. So when you're home, when the kids are having a sleepover and they're all busy doing something, or the kids are somewhere else, you could do something that's heavy prep work. And the days when the kids are home and you don't have much time, those are the days you do the slow cooker ones. So I think we all have, you know, a combination of types of days with different types of schedules. And some days we have more time for prep and some days we don't. And I don't think that any of us wants to do a slow cooker food every day, and nobody has the time to do high prep food every day. So to be able to organize a cookbook by the amount of time and prep involved, I thought would be interesting. And my take on it would be for the amount of time you have to craft, but it would apply to someone's work schedule or their kid's schedule. Oh yeah, Lisa, yeah, and get recipes from other people. That might be fun too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, those are fun books too, where you mix and match other people's stuff. Thanks, Rebecca. Anne says her freezer is her friend. I'm guessing she likes to freeze leftovers then. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't know how to do properly too. That's something worth teaching as well. How to prep your foods, especially if you're going to buy in bulk to save money. You end up not saving money if you don't know how to prep your food. Oh, Jane, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's a great idea, having like a podcast potluck recipe book where everybody from here sent recipes. That's a nice idea too. Yeah. I like that idea. Yeah, that is nice, Rebecca. I like that idea. Yeah, where we all do the recipes together, and then I come up with some patterns to go along with the different chapters. That's really lovely. I like that. All right, well, let's sit on that seed for a little bit and see how it grows. I love that idea. Definitely. Love it. Oh, I haven't been looking for dolphins. I wonder if more dolphins have gone by. yeah, I would set up the chapters, and then anybody that feels like they have a special recipe for any of those different chapters, yeah, love it. Love the idea. Got to think on this some more. Love it. It is so pretty here today. Lisa, you haven't seen any other dolphins? Oh yeah, Judy, that's what I planned on, is that having it organized so that the things that, having different levels of patterns to go along with the different levels of cooking in the book. That's been the concept I've had for many years and just haven't really manifested physically yet, but look at, you can see my wheels turning. When I look up in the sky and don't look at the camera anymore, you know my wheels are turning. Yeah, definitely would involve patterns too. Yeah, so we need to think on that some more. That'd be fun. We've got lots of activity in the water today too. Oh, no, I see a bird. Thought I saw a dolphin. Has anyone seen dolphin while I'm talking? Karen has her great-grandmother's Polish cookbook printed in 1945. Yum! I love Polish food. Yes, Rebecca, it would be, yeah, there'd be fast patterns versus detailed patterns, and there'd be fast recipes versus more detailed recipes. There is one behind. I don't know. Well, if anybody's on Instagram, take a look back at my story this morning, because I saw a group of 4 dolphin swimming along together. Yeah, there has been a lot of activity in the water. We've had boaters, we've had those cormorants, those birds that go up and down and swim for their food. We've had the big groups of birds on the water. Maybe George is back. So fun. Does anybody have any more questions? Yeah, there's another boat way back there too. Wow, and he's going fast. Going fast for a big boat. Yeah, it's a beautiful morning. I wish I could stay all day too. But time to get back to work. Oh, Karen saw the Instagram photo. Cool, good, I'm glad. Thanks, Karen. These are from my brand new book called 80 Handmade Gifts. You can find information about it on my website. It's also available on Amazon all over the world, Kindle all over the world, and you can get the ebook on Ravelry or the paperback book on Amazon or my website. All right, well, if nobody has any other questions for me today, let's take this last minute to look out at our magnificent view, soak in the colors and the sounds of the waves, and set our intentions for the day. Thanks so much, everybody, for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise, the sound of the waves, the colors of the beautiful scenery here this morning. I hope you enjoyed chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Happy Halloween. Be safe, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.